Okay, everybody, welcome back. Welcome back, Brigandine enthusiasts, to a new episode of Kingdom Cast. This is for Legend of Runersia, so I hope you're very excited to see what's going to happen here. So we've got all the next countries available here. So I'm going to go ahead and scroll to it, and we'll click on it, and we'll talk about it. So I talked about Norzalio Kingdom. I went over the Republic of Guimol. The Shinobi tribe was next after that. Now it's Mana Saleesia, and apparently they're all ready to look at, but I'm going to go through this video here, and I'm just going to talk about Mana Saleesia and the connections that I see coming from Legend of Runersia. So this is going to be a little bit of a treat here, hopefully. And if you have some opinions as to what you think this also coincides with and what it connects to, I'd love to hear it down below. So let's go ahead and talk about this here. And all right, so we've got this here. So I'm gonna mess up the whole screen. No, hopefully not. All right, so we're gonna look at a couple things. We're just gonna scroll down here like this, but yeah, here's some of the characters here. That not all the characters are here yet. There will be more characters, obviously, and when more characters actually do appear, I will go ahead and talk more about that. But right now we're going to talk about Mana Saleesia Theocracy. So that's kind of what I'm going to do here, is we're going to go over this. So let me read the title here for you. Let me get a drink real quick because I'm kind of thirsty. But this is a pretty cool thing, isn't it? That's pretty cool. Okay, so we got Mana Saleesia Theocracy. All right, the foremost country of the continent containing the special zone Zai, which is said to be Mana Spring that birthed the 5 Mana Stones. Okay, self-proclaimed true followers of the Rune God, the country calls its Brigandine the Brigandine of Sanctity. Holy See Romanov worked towards reconciling Guimol's Moana sect and Mana Saleesia's Zai sect, but the two countries with vastly different faiths and histories stopped short of reaching a compromise, leading the continent into a new era of war and turmoil. So this is pretty interesting here. This is like a big mouthful. This is a lot to digest here. This is way more, maybe way more in depth than Forsina was in some sense. It didn't really describe. Forsina really didn't describe too much about the mana. It really just Bolnoil talked about the mana, and there wasn't a lot of dialogue that coincided with it. But basically, what this is saying is that this country has the special Zai zone, the Zai zone. So, not a Cal zone, a Zai zone, or the zone of Zai. I'm sorry, I'm not. It's just, there's a lot of tongue twisters in here. I just have to say that. There's a lot of tongue twisters in here. I'm having a hard time. But, so anyways, the Zai, the Z-A-I, the Zai is a zone, and it's what is the Mana Spring. So the Zai is the Mana Spring, and the Mana Spring gave birth to 5 Mana Stones. So on a continent with 6 countries, maybe the other Brigandine can't be made or can't be crafted or can't be there because there's only 5 stones. Maybe that's part of the story. I guess we'll kind of see about that, but that's really interesting. That's a really interesting thing here. So this is kind of telling you the history of the continent, of the country. So what happened here? So we've got they are said to be the true followers of the Rune God. Okay, so they're saying they're the original Rune God followers. They're the original sect. All right. I guess they do have a Brigandine. I don't know. Maybe that maybe the stones have nothing to do with the Brigandine. I'm just trying to like put together the idea of the Mana Stones and the Brigandine. I'm trying to figure that out. If you got some ideas, please leave me some comments down below. I'd love to hear that. They have the Brigandine of Sanctity. Okay. Holy See Romanov. Work toward reconciling. So the Holy See. There's like a papal thing. There is like a high tier papacy of sorts, but this papacy is for the mana. It's for the mana of the world. Okay, so it's interesting. It's kind of like copying our reality too. So he's trying to reconcile the two sects. It's kind of like if you had a Franciscan sect and a Dominican sect, and they started fighting, and you try to reconcile them. You know, if you were the Pope or something like that. I'm just giving an example, but this is kind of what I can kind of get out of it. So vastly different faiths and different histories. Stop short of a compromise. Jeez. So it led the world into war, pretty much. Right. So that's what that's about. Let's read about Rudo here. All right, Rudo Marco. Let's read about you, bro. So, the legitimate son. Okay, all right. Before we go into that, Rudo Marco. Character voice is Shunsuke Takeuchi. I think I said that name right. I hope I did. Right. So, gender male, age 22, Hierophant. Now, I looked up a Hierophant, and it's basically kind of like calling someone an erudite. It's kind of like a very intelligent person, very learned person, very smart person. Kind of like if we have to make a similarity here to somebody, let's look at Philia and Sophia from Leonia, who talk about Solon and how he helped them out and he was their teacher. Now, if you look at Solon, he comes way back he goes way back into Greece. And he was a very learned person. That was a very intelligent person. That I think he taught medicines or philosophy, or maybe a little bit of both. I'd have to look more into that. But Solon was a very learned person. He was a real person in history. And Phila and Sophia talk about him in Legend of Runersia. So this guy is a Hierophant. So is he picking up that Solon aspect? I don't know. Let's read about his story here. So the legitimate son of Romanov, the Holy See of Mana Saleesia Theocracy. So he's the son of the Holy See. All right, so he's like what Leoness would kind of be considered in a way. You know, Leoness was the queen. Anyways, sorry, getting distracted. It has been 200 years since the Mana Stone 30 Years' War split the continent of Runersia in two. Mana Saleesia and Guamol are two opposing sects, both professing the Rune faith. Holy See Romanov had been making efforts to dissolve the animosity between them. With hands stained by the blood of his own father, Rudo dons the Brigandine of Sanctity and charges down the path of revolution in order to bring the continent under the rule of the Zai sect. So it's a little grim here. It looks like he kills his father and starts a rebellion. So it's almost like, I get the feeling like it's a mixture of Leonia and the Escaris Empire, because if you actually read the stories between the two, they're kind of similar in a way. One's trying to make an ideal state for a philosophical perspective, not really involving, I guess, God so much, and Leonia is kind of, involving the higher spirit or the source or whatever they're involving, but they are working with their understanding of an ideal state too. So. And it's really funny when you actually have Leonia take out the Empire and you read the dialogue that happens there. And you see that Zemeckis says that Leonia's country and him and what he was doing weren't very different. And that alone made me kind of like clue into the idea that maybe this is kind of a mixture of Leonia and Ascaris Empire. But if we read here, we read about this, and it says his hand, with hands stained by the blood of his father, of his own father. This makes it sound like he killed his own father in cold blood. I could be wrong. Maybe there's more dialogue to see. Maybe there was something bad his father was doing. Maybe his father was trying to, resurrect the ancient god, and maybe that ancient god wasn't a good god. Or maybe he was trying to resurrect an ancient monster. Or maybe his father was doing something really bad and he kills his father. But this looks like that statement alone right there sounds very much like a cold-blooded murder. So it says, Rudo dons the Brigandine of Sanctity and charges down the path of revolution in order to bring the continent under the rule of the Zai sect. So it sounds like he's just gonna do whatever he wants. He could be a bad dude. He could be kind of like an Ascaris Empire. He could be kind of like a Zemeckis, where Zemeckis didn't really want to fight the king, but Khador kind of like hinted towards him. He's like, you know what? They're gonna attack you anyways. They're gonna blame you for this. They're gonna attack you. You might as well just start a revolution. And Zemeckis was like, you know what? Maybe I should. And he started thinking about all his power and prestige and everything he did, and it's sort of like it's sort of like the story of Beowulf. Beowulf starts as a good character, in the end you kind of see him as the bad guy. I don't know if that's the same feel that Rudo Marco will have in this game, but I'd love to hear your opinion of this. That would be awesome. But this guy's a very intelligent person, so he's not going to be necessarily a pushover because he's a Hierophant. So he's a very well-learned person. So he's a very intelligent person. But could that make him like a cold-blooded murderer? Possibly. So he could be a really, really bad dude. But I'm getting this whole feel of Leonia mixed in with the Ascaris Empire. I'm trying to figure out which one this one ties in a little bit more with. But let's go ahead and read some more characters here, and we'll get probably a better idea as to what's going on. So let's see what's next here. Let's see. Let us go down and click on the next one. All right, Selena. So, Selena. Let me read your character bio here, and we'll get going. So, Selena. All right, so Selena, character voice, Yu Serizawa. That's an interesting name. It almost sounds like Sarah. I don't know if there's any ties in there. I hope I said your name right. I'm going to carry on from here, though. Gender female, age 18, initial class sorceress. Profile: a priestess working for the Rune Police Division's publicity unit. She is quiet, courteous, and dislikes conflict. However, having been gifted with special mana energy since birth, she is a force to be reckoned with if encountered on the battlefield. Due to her capabilities and achievements in battle, many view her as a likely candidate for the next High Priest. Still, her mana abilities deeply trouble her, and as someone understands her feelings of doubt. Holy See Romanov is the only one she can seek for emotional support. I got to think about this for half a second. 1 second here. I need to get a drink too. So what I can get out of this right here is that she's a very powerful mage. How powerful? I don't know, but definitely middle tier. I can't say she's end class tier because Sorceress, typically from Brigandine standards, is not final tier. Sorceress is pretty much mid tier. So that's all I can really say from trying to understand her powers and abilities. She's probably going to be a good mage though. So she's either going to have a lot of MP or a lot of intelligence. So it's going to be one of those two things. She could have maybe a little bit of both. But so this is an interesting new thing in here. Is Rune Police Division's publicity unit. This is like publicity unit. Rune Police. Rune Police. Okay, so the division of Rune Police. Publicity unit. So this is the public division's police. So it's Rune Police. Essentially, that's a long word to describe Rune Police, but I guess there's different divisions of Rune Police. So it's interesting. So she is policing other Rune Knights. I would think this is what this means. I think there's a Rune Knight police, and so within this theocracy, they police the other knights according to whether they should how much they should summon, if they can summon, how they do it, where they do it. It's it's kind of like if we had the power to call forth monsters in this reality, there would be a police force probably dedicated to be like, hey, you can't just summon a monster in the middle of a city. That's not allowed. So I think it has something to do with that. That's very interesting though, but it would make sense. You shouldn't like there are definitely, there are laws within the city limits. Like you can't I guess it depends on the city and the country and all that, but certain cities, like you can't just discharge a firearm within the city. You can't hunt a deer if it was deer season. You can't hunt a deer in the middle of a city. There's certain areas to go to and do this. I know I'm carrying on with this a long time, but this is like a really interesting thing that hasn't been in Brigandine. There has never been a Rune police force before. So a Rune police force is like a whole new kind of thing. And so what that means is that this country has gotten to the point where other people are just summoning monsters, that has to be policed. It's that out of control. People aren't either courteous enough to understand, oh, hey, let's not summon a giant monster right on top of grandma's house because, grandma might not like it. Maybe we need a police force to tell the person, hey, you want to summon that monster, put it in the forest over there, where grandma's house isn't, so she doesn't get flattened. So that's kind of what I think is going on with that. I don't know. It seems like that. Anyway, let's continue here. I'm getting carried away, but I think it's really interesting that they've done that. Okay, so due to her capabilities. Okay, so I read all this too, but her capabilities and achievements have been a likely candidate for the next high priest. So she's going to be like a Leoness. Selena, looks like she's going to be a Leoness character. It looks very much like that. And it's snowing outside, and it's the middle of April. I'm amazed. So sorry, I'm just like, whoa, what? Okay. All right, so there's a lot of new things in Brigandine and in the world too. Would you ever have noticed that? I don't know, but so anyways, so her mana abilities deeply trouble her, as someone understands her feelings of doubt. Holy Supermana is the only one she can seek for emotional support. So the only person that can give her emotional support for her feelings of, is this for me? Is this, should I be doing it? Is the Holy See. Romanov. So she's kind of being guided. And it looks like Romanov is giving her emotional support, whether it's due to the fact that she's the next in line, or it's because he's just a really nice character. Now, it could be the fact that Rudo killed his father in cold blood, and his father was a good father, but Rudo, the son, was a really evil, bad person. I don't know. I guess we'll find out as we get into the story, but it's looking a little shadowy for Rudo. Rudo has this little shadow side, and it doesn't look very good for him. So let's go on here. Let's read some more. We're going to go on to Gilliam next. We're going to move on to Gilliam here, and we're going to check out his stuff. So let's go click the dude. All right, so we got Gilliam here. Yeah, I'm getting this whole Empire Leonia thing going on here. It's like maybe, I don't know, it feels like a little bit of a mix between the two. Let's read Gilliam and let's see what this is about, okay? Let's try to figure this out. All right, Gilliam. Character voice. Hidenari Igaki. Gender male, age 55, initial class cardinal. Profile. The High Priest of Mana Saleesia Theocracy. Though an excellent mage in his own right, he treats talented young mages harshly in order to keep his position secure, sometimes even stealing credit for their achievements. Needless to say, he is not well liked. This devout man has a large family, and he intends to stay in his position as High Priest for another 10 years to support them. He sometimes proclaims himself as the top mage of the continent, despite once being soundly trounced by both Ju of the Norzalio Kingdom and Mua of the Republic of Gomol. So this guy is kind of a brown noser, but I don't know, is it brown nose? Maybe that's not the right way to describe him, but he's kind of a dastardly character. He's not a very good guy. He's really not. I mean, you're going to be like, well, he's got to support his large family. He's got to teach them to support themselves. He can't support them forever. I mean, it's a good thing he's supporting his family, but he's literally stealing credit where credit is due to someone else. So this guy is a thief. This guy is a mental thief. He steals your credit. You do something good, he steals it from you. And so he's not well liked. So I don't like this guy either. This is going to be one of those characters that I'm going to love to hate. And yeah, it's going to be one of those kind of guys. So he's a braggart. He thinks he's better than everybody. Everybody just, knocks him around silly with their magic. Like, yeah, man, you kind of suck at this. And so Gilliam is just a dastardly kind of guy. It just seems like this country is going to be filled with like dastardly characters. Rudo sounds like there's a little bit of shade on his side, and he could be a really bad person. He could have done something that he thought might have been right, but it almost sounds like Rudo's character is that of almost Zemeckis, but more of a he could be worse than Zemeckis, possibly. But it looks like a mixture of Leonia and Esgar's Empire. Let me know what you think. So anyways, let's go on to the next character here. Kyle. Kyle is our next character on the list of things to click. So we're going to go do that. All right, so Kyle. All right, Kyle. What are you all about, man? All right, so I just want to zoom that in, just make sure that looks, get all that in there. All right, so Kyle, character voice, Hiroshi Tsuchida. Gender male, age 42, initial class paladin. Profile. Rudo's talented aide. He is level-headed and extremely intelligent. He often flatters High Priest Gilliam in order to avoid the spotlight himself. However, his keen grasp of battle strategy and the dealings of the other retainers allow him to provide Rudo with invaluable counsel. Because of this, Rudo trusts him even more than Gilliam. Rudo's tactics and Kyle's strategies can be said to be the driving force behind the Mana Saleesia Theocracy's military success. So that is another. That's really interesting. So this guy, he's a paladin, so he's the top tier, right? So in Brigandine, typically paladin is the highest class of a white knight or a knight or a cavalier class. You typically either start off as a fighter you typically start off as a fighter class. You move into either grappler class, berserker class, or knight class. And knight class pulls up and moves up into paladin class, which paladin class is like a self heal, or you can heal others kind of tank. Typical paladin stuff. It's, you just think of Final Fantasy paladin, and you're pretty much along those same lines. They have there's a bit of a difference between a paladin and Brigandine and a paladin in Final Fantasy. So, I mean, will the paladins have more options for magic skills here? Maybe, I don't know. And now it's not blizzarding. Sorry. I should, okay, I'll stop that. So paladins in this game, they typically have a cleanse, they have a heal, and that's kind of mostly what they have. And it really depended upon whether you played the Legend of Runersia game or you played the Grand Edition game. I think the Runersia game would give you a holy word with a paladin, so the paladin could pop a holy word, use a big AoE attack on everybody. But in Grand Edition, they just gave you Divine Ray instead, so they took away the holy word and gave you Divine Ray. And Dinadan in Grand Edition, because he was a Knight Master, he didn't even get holy word, he got bolt attack, so he got thunder. So this game could literally have almost anything. I don't even know. It could have almost any kind of spell attachments in here. Paladin's been through one of the most craziest changes as far as like, what should we give him? I don't know. Maybe this time we'll give him this thing. Maybe this time we'll give him that thing. It could go through a plethora of changes as far as like what kind of magic spells you get. But typically what you can guarantee look for, and if I'm wrong, I will say I'm wrong, but pretty much almost all the time, you're going to see a heal and a cleanse. They will have those skills. They will have that magic skill. Will they get another offensive magic skill? Yes, they pretty much will, especially Paladin class. But what will it be? Will it be a Holy Word? Will it be a Divine Ray? If it's a Special Knight, could they get a Bolt Attack? What could it be? I can't say. I cannot say. I'm kind of hoping for a Divine Ray, because I kind of like the Divine Ray a little better, but a Holy Word would be pretty interesting too. So, you know, I guess we'll see as far as what they get. But as far as this goes here, let's talk about his character. So he's a talented aide. He just reminded me of Gwynguilin, but this is really crazy because it's like I get this whole Leonia and Ascaris feel, but why is he reminding me of Gwynguilin? I guess because of the strategist aspect to it. But let's read a little bit of his profile. So he flatters the High Priest Gilliam, even though Gilliam is kind of a diversive character. He's derisive. He's more of a derisive character, and he's not a very good character. So he's trying to flatter Gilliam. I don't know why he's trying to flatter Gilliam. I guess because Gilliam is always looking to have all the credit. So he's just flattering him just to, I guess, to get him to avoid the spotlight on himself, is to just get Gilliam off his case. So Kyle could just be flat out lying to Gilliam in order so Gilliam will just stay away from it. He just wants to stay away from Gilliam, probably. So it could be something like that. Maybe Kyle sees the bad qualities in Gilliam and just wants to avoid them. That could probably be what that means there. However, his keen grasp of battle strategy and dealings with other retainers allow him to provide Rudo with invaluable counsel. So he's going to be giving a lot of counsel, and he's going to be pretty good. So he's kind of like a really good strategist, kind of like what Gwynguilin was. If I have to match him up to somebody, maybe, I don't want to say Gish, but there was, maybe he's like the opposite of Kador. Like Kador was a Death Knight and this guy's a full-on paladin, but Kador gave Rudo, or not, I'm sorry, Kador gave Zemeckis all the strategies that Zemeckis was able to utilize and use, and Rudo and Kyle's giving Rudo all these strategies, but he's a paladin this time, so maybe he's like the Kador equivalent but not in the bad way. He's kind of actually like a sort of a good guy in a sense. So Rudo trusts him more than Gilliam. Gilliam isn't really trusted very much. Tactics, driving force. So this is literally like his backup guy, his strategist, kind of like Ghidorah's. Ghidorah was a strategist to Zemeckis. Kyle's the strategist to Rudo. But the crazy thing is, like, Ghidorah was a necromanced puppet of Bullnoil. So this guy's not. He's a full-on, paladin. He's like, trying to do things the right way, or the holy way. In appearance, at least. I don't know much more of the story. We'd have to look at the story a little bit more. But what do you think? Is this like a Ghidorah character mixed with a Langoborg character, or an Az? I don't know who to pin this guy to, but I can't say right now. It's something crazy like that. That's all I can say. That's all I can think of. That's all I can think of for that. So I don't know what else to say. I'm going to move on to the next character, Emma, here. Let me know your thoughts too, as far as like who he kind of connects to. All right, so Emma. That's interesting. Feels weird. It's almost like I met her. I don't know. All right, so Emma, character voice, Mayu Yoshioka. Gender female, age 19. Initial class, Temple Knight. A priestess working for the Ruin Police Division's publicity unit. Since a young age, she has consistently been compared to her childhood best friend Selena, since she is constantly working harder than Selena and takes pride in being discreet. But she cannot escape the reality that no matter how hard she tries, she is unable to surpass Selena's natural gifts. This has caused her to delve a deep jealousy of Selena. Rudo detects her true feelings and persuades her to join his cause. She is wholly loyal to Rudo and will sacrifice her life for him if need be. So she is a very loyal character. She's not very powerful, it seems. But who would Emma kind of compare to in the... this would kind of be... This would kind of be like an Esmeree. This would be like an Esmeree right here. She would sacrifice her life for him if need be. Esmeree kind of acted the same way to Zemeckis in the Ascaris Empire. But she's not as powerful as Selena, but she tries really, really hard. So, but Selena and her are best friends. But she's working for the Ruin Police Division's publicity unit, so she's a part of the police force here, too. So I'm guessing there's going to be some kind of love interest between Rudo and her, possibly, but it doesn't really say much. Zemeckis didn't really... It's sad, but Zemeckis didn't really treat his wife that well. And if she has this love interest for Rudo, Rudo might not treat her that well either. So we'll see what happens. But I'm getting this feeling that she's kind of the connection now. She's kind of the new Esmeree. And Rudo might be the new Zemeckis. So I just get this feeling like that. I think there's some connection feelings with Leonia in here too, because of the whole theocracy. But then again, there could be a lot more connections with that in a lot of other things, because this seems to have to deal with the Ruin God and, the temple powers and the Holy See. And so it seems like the religious aspect in this game has blown up a little bit more than what was in the original Legend of Runersia game. So that's really all I've got for this. I can't really theorize anymore. It's going to be interesting country to play as. You might actually get to learn a lot by playing this country here, because there's just going to be a lot of background stuff that there's going to be a lot of drama in this one. There's going to be a lot of drama. Did Rudo kill his father in cold blood? Did Rudo have to do it because, you know, he was trying to save the world somehow? I mean, what was the reason Rudo killed his father? Rudo could be a cold-blooded murderer. He could be a really bad guy. I mean, he could be like a Zemeckis character, or he could have maybe there was something good to him that he had to. Maybe he was forced to do it. Maybe there was magic involved. Maybe there was like a Bull Oil character that was pulling the strings behind the background. You know, I guess, I don't know. We'll have to see. But I hope you enjoyed this episode of Kingdom Cast. I'm your host, Veracity Trigger. And so what I'm going to do is when this game comes out, I'm going to be playing this a lot. I'll be making more videos for YouTube. But if you do want to see me live, I will be doing this probably every day. So on Twitch. So you can check that out on Twitch and all that. If you want to check out this game, there's a link for it in the description. So all the stuff's in the description if you want to check it out down there and see what's going on with the new Brigandine game. But this is Mana Saleesia. Next up, we are going to go and talk about the United Islands of Merelva. The United Islands of Merelva. I always want to, I keep wanting to say Mervelia. I have this instinctual thing that I want to say Mervelia, but it's Merelva. So I have to keep like reminding me. But I'll go into I'll go into the United Islands of Merelva next up on next Kingdom Cast video. So thank you so much for watching. Please leave some likes and all that stuff. I leave with the outro, and I hope to see you in the next video. Have a good day and take care.
Game over.
It is over when I say it is over.
Answer my call!